welcome to Malvern Books. We were just here celebrating the debut poetry collection of Esteban Rodríguez, and now we are back again for book number 2. So let's congratulate Esteban. Before we hear from him, we'll be hearing from ire'ne Lara Silva, who is the author of 3 poetry collections, an e-chapbook, and a short story collection. She also co-edited the anthology Imaniman, Poets Writing in the Anzaldúan Borderlands, and she's currently working on her first novel. So please welcome her to the stage.
So I'm super happy to be here and to congratulate Esteban, and now my press has published his books, and now we're press siblings. But it's super cool that we're both in Austin, and that I get to be a part of this night here. So congrats. So I'm going to read a couple poems from my last 2 books of poetry, which are actually, yes, both published by AROHO. So, do you have a request for Sugar Canto?
You just say it.
All right. Let's read the last poem. So there's a lot of struggle, strife, sad poems, mad poems, everything else. But I'm going to read y'all the nice calm poem at the end. But yes, the book is chronic illness, mortality, doctors, stuff like that. But yes, the nice calm poem at the end. There will be singing in the morning and singing in the night. Singing in the days of want and singing in the days of plenty. Singing alone and singing with ghosts. Singing old songs and singing new songs. We will remember songs we haven't heard yet. Songs that haven't been dreamt yet. Songs no one has found the words for, songs sung on the road and songs sung in bed, songs sung while weeping and songs sung while waiting, songs for breath and sun and light and moon and earth and water, songs for sustenance. We will sing impossible songs, indecipherable songs, songs that cannot be heard and songs that cannot be shared. We will sing songs without words, silent songs and screaming songs, songs that tremble and songs we can embrace. Song and I live in each other's skins, song and I breathe each other's breath, take refuge in each other. Naming and unnaming, freeing ourselves, taking wing, song and I spiraling in the sky. I would like to die singing. Let there be song in my throat spilling out, let my last breath be song. And from that calm poem, we will go to the border. So the new book, which is also out this year, has to do with indigeneity, the border, history, violence, but also song. So let me see. So the first poem was inspired by the fact that I have been in Austin now for 21 years. And the only good thing about the fact that I work downtown is that I cross the river every single day. And I love the river here. So, you love a river. For 20 years, you love a river. And every time you cross it or sit to stare at it, you imagine your suddenly immense hands brushing over its calm ripples, as if it was fur, as if it was skin, as if it could touch you back, as if it also loved you, as if it had waited for you always, this peaceful, uncontested river, always serene, so different from that other river, the river that has defined your entire life. The river you love is far, but not that far from that other river. That other river sometimes muddy, sometimes dry, sometimes green, sometimes lovely. But you can never think of it without seeing almost 2 centuries of blood shed over it. Can never see it without thinking of the lives, the pain, the hurt, the losses crossing that river has cost. You have always loved rivers, but is it still a river if it has walls? And then both Esteban and I have written chupacabra poems, which our publishers were like delighted by. And so for our publishers, Don and Ruth, I'll read this chupacabra poem, which happened because a good friend of mine, the poet Deborah Miranda, adopted this stray dog that she said was kind of odd looking, a little too skinny, ears a little too long, body not quite symmetrical, and had a weird shadow. But they decided to love this dog anyway. And the dog has a name. I have no idea what the dog's name is. But they started to call it Chupacabra because it looks a little off. So one day her wife was asking her if she was going to walk the Chupacabra that morning or not. And it struck her as like the most interesting line. So she offered it up as a poem. And I never pay attention to poem prompts, but something about that caught me. So, walking the Chupacabra for Devin Miranda. Every morning we put the leash around his rough furred neck, let him take the lead out the door and onto the sidewalk, while the neighbors look askance at us. We walk the Chupacabra every morning, or shall we say, he consents to let us walk him, and we walk on the balls of our feet. Here we are, walking the Chupacabra, or shall we say, walking the threat of violence, walking the shadow of imminent death. We walk on the balls of our feet and breathe rapidly, ready to run should he decide to turn and maul us, should he become unable to hold his hunger in check, not hunger for flesh, but hunger to see life spilled, life burst, life ended. We walk the Chupacabra praying under our breaths, hesitating when he stops to inspect a bush or a butterfly or a dog walking down the opposite side of the street. We never hesitate when he decides to change direction. We speed our steps, almost trip over ourselves. We walk the Chupacabra, or shall we say we walk danger incarnated, walk rage concentrated in a four-legged form. We turn back when, and only when, his eyes turn homewards, and his horns cast shadows. He waits while we open the lock on the door, while we remove the leash, while we pour water into his bowl and use a knife on our hands to add enough of our blood so that he'll always recognize us. We do not serve him anything to eat. We still don't know what he eats. He has no bed. Sometimes we find him asleep on the ceiling. At night we sleep in this house where the Chupacabra sleeps. We sleep with our eyes open in case he wakes. We sleep in this house, which always smells slightly of blood and smoke, of wild things, of anguish and hunger. Not hunger of remembrance, always remembrance of vengeance, desperately seeking to name itself something else. We live, we sleep, we eat, we love, we make things in this house where the Chupacabra lives. This house guarded by the Chupacabra. And we'll end with another peaceful one. I think I was waiting at a bus stop at night, and this just came to me, looking up at the stars. It seems to me the stars are enduring. Here where I stand, the ancestors stood, the same wind, the same night sky, the same trees, the same sweet scent of grass. I touch my face, and the hand touching my face is 100 hands deep. We are like lost children who do not know our birth names, do not know our birth mothers, as if we had been taken, as if we had been abandoned, as if we had been raised in a world without mirrors. The world confuses history with truth, victims with survivors, lines on a map for reality. The headlines proclaim us foreign, dangerous, and dark-skinned hordes invading what has never existed. This is my earth, not theirs. It has always been my earth. Taste it in my blood, and your tongue will confuse the two, the one. This sky and my spirit, also one, the same ardent shade of blue. And this is my face as it has been for 1,000 years, all my mother's faces. I walk the same steps, listening to a half song, dreaming a half song, my voice fashions a half song. But my hands are not half hands, my heart is not a half heart, my blood is not half blood, my soul is not half soul. If I stand, they stand. If I live, they live. If I breathe, they breathe. If I speak, they speak through me. If I heal, they heal through me. I am never alone. I am never only one. I am the embodiment of 1,000 years' desire to survive, to live, to be free. Here where I stand, the ancestors stood. The same wind, the same night sky, the same trees, the same sweet scent of grass. I touch my face, and the hand touching my face is 100 hands deep. It seems to me the stars are enduring.